So now he's won the prize, what will policy, and in particular foreign policy, look like under President Trump? The first thing when talking to people in his team is that they tell you not to take too much notice of what he said on the campaign trail.
In vaudeville, it's called a shtick. It's an aspect of the performance that he repeats, and it's kind of a signature. I don't think one should take literally most things that come out as part of the shtick.
Most of the things he said?
Well, anybody. I mean, it's a kind of a performance in a way.
The second thing we've learned is that certain policies, like building up America's defences, are gaining instant traction in Washington because they're ones the president and his Republican Congress can easily agree upon. Former CIA director and arms control negotiator James Woolsey is in Trump's transition team.
It sounds to me as if he's very much in favor of rebuilding our armed forces and having a strong military. I've long thought that Theodore Roosevelt had the right formulation for what a president ought to stand for, which is speak softly and carry a big stick. The Obama administration has let our stick deteriorate. We will be able to look to Donald Trump for a Reagan-like buildup. It's staying ahead technologically, a very heavy emphasis on electronic warfare and hacking and electromagnetic pulse attacks and so forth. And I think Trump is the sort of individual who would think it was important for the United States to stay ahead of that technological race with Russia and with everybody else, North Korea, whatever.
And there's another one Republicans in Congress are already showing their hand on, ditching Trump campaign rhetoric on NATO or Asian allies, moving to act against perceived enemies, like Iran, which Trump's advisors suggest is bound to get the bomb if Obama's deal stands.
I think we're better without it. It's worse than worthless. We can do much better, perhaps. We could cut a reasonable deal with the Iranians. It's not completely impossible, but I think the chances are very slim.
So does that mean a nuclear-armed Iran in the next few years, with maybe Saudi Arabia and other regional actors saying, well, if they have it, we want it too?
I think Iran, under this agreement, will have nuclear weapons within a very few years. Not 10, but much less than that.
Of all the areas where we just don't know how the rhetoric versus reality equation will play out, free trade is probably the biggest. A president has considerable latitude on trade policy, and campaign statements carried through could have huge implications for the global economy.
This is a major policy matter, one that Mr. Trump's taken a great deal of interest in, and it's not clear where it's going. We need to have some useful discussions with our close trading partners, but this is a tough one.
So the transition begins, and the president-elect will soon start naming his cabinet. Many are likely to be senior members of the Republican establishment, a further reminder of the degree to which campaign messages are fading and America's deep state taking effect.